Welcome back to GoatCast Sports. I am CW, and the NBA landscape is shaping up as preseason has begun. We've gotten to see some of the players in their new jerseys, and some we haven't even seen in a jersey in a while. I went through who I thought were contenders and pretenders out east and west. If you haven't checked those, links will be in the description. So today, I'm going to look at a few teams that fell under my radar, either because there's some unknowns or because I've soured on their potential, but could be sneaky good in this season and play spoiler to some of the heavyweights. So here are 5 teams you shouldn't sleep on in the 2024 season. But first, if you enjoy NBA breakdowns and analysis, please like and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1K and can't do it without you. Also, if you enjoy podcasts, and who doesn't these days, check out my podcast on my new channel, link in description. So now, let's check out our first team, the Dallas Mavericks. I'm surprised I didn't catch any flack for completely leaving them off my Western Conference contenders and pretenders list. But after the stench of last season, I'm a little skeptical on this team. While Luka Doncic seems to be coming into camp and the preseason in shape, and Kyrie Irving, fresh off signing a new multi-year deal, seems to be playing nice right now. Dallas these last few years seems to not be able to figure it out when it comes to constructing a contending team. Letting Jalen Brunson go shine his light for the Knicks and become an all-star seemed to pretty much show the current competency of Dallas's ownership. Then trying to right that wrong with Kyrie seemed like an odd fit. However, what the dawn of a new season means new opportunities, and on paper, Dallas could be a sneaky good team. Adding Grant Williams from the Celtics and mixing him with Luka, Kyrie, Seth Curry, and at times Tim Hardaway Jr., they'll have some heavy firepower on the perimeter. Markieff Morris and Dwight Powell down low can bring some toughness, especially Morris, when needed. As injuries these days seem to be the make or break variable for many NBA teams, if one of the contenders out west gets hit with that bug for any extended time, a healthy Mavs could push their way up the ladder. If Kyrie and Luka can figure out how to work side by side, and for a small sample size last season, they weren't awful, this tandem could be one of the very best in the current NBA. They're still a little malnourished when it comes to defense, but with their cast, they may be able to light up a scoreboard and hope to outpace other teams. The Indiana Pacers. I'm not sure I've seen a single Pacers game in the past 4 or 5 years. That may change soon. Even last year, they were on the verge of the play-in, but just had a bad finish to the season. Now with all-star and constantly improving Tyrese Halliburton in year 3, they may have that centerpiece to make some movement out east. Plus adding unsung hero Bruce Brown from the 2023 champion Denver Nuggets should be a big boost alongside their already talented roster of Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, TJ McConnell, Obi Toppin, and even ex-Celtic Daniel Theis. With their mix of defense and solid offense, even in the top-heavy Eastern Conference, I believe they have the talent and the right mix of players to give some teams problems. With both the Heat and Raptors being a bit weaker as we head into opening night, the Pacers could realistically rise into the 7 through 10 range. Oklahoma City Thunder. We saw the showdown between future All-Stars Victor Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren a few nights ago, and now with Chet fully healthy, the Thunder, who were already a solid team last season, could skyrocket out west. They already muscled their way into the play-in tournament last season, and they've only gotten stronger heading into 2024. With a top 10 player in the NBA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at the helm, upcoming stars in Josh Giddey and the aforementioned Chet Holmgren should help an already young and solid roster. They also have Jalen Williams and Lou Dort that both chipped in pretty big contributions last season, and if they can keep up their trajectory, should be stellar pieces in this season. Shai averaging over 30 points only in his 4th year. The one thing that separates this Thunder team from others out west and even east is youth. They are an extremely young team with only 2 players 30 or above, and they have constructed their roster mainly through the draft, which means this team is building chemistry with one another from the first time they step on an NBA court. As we've seen with the dynastic Golden State Warriors, nothing builds true chemistry and true identity than starting from the ground up with a group of talent that complement each other and building trust. The Thunder are going to be a sneaky good team this season and can leapfrog into the 5 or 6 spot out west as they grow together, and with those youthful legs, the old guard may be moved down a peg or two. The Brooklyn Nets. I know Ben Simmons is supposed to be done, finished, buried, and gone, but he's not. If healthy and only being 27 years old, Simmons can come into the season with a chip on his shoulder and really resurrect his once all-star career. Looking up and down the Brooklyn lineup, this is a team filled with defenders. Mikal Bridges, Simmons, Dorian Finney-Smith, Royce O'Neal, Nicholas Claxton. Then you have Gunners and Cameron Johnson, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Dennis Smith Jr., and now newly acquired Lonnie Walker IV. who had a breakout season with the Lakers last year. While none of those names other than maybe Ben Simmons jumps out and screams all-star, they have capable guys that know their role and are willing to play it to the best of their abilities. They also have Cam Thomas, who had a great run in the 2023 season as the Nets struggled, being a bright spot for what could have been a disastrous year. Now that the smoke is cleared from the Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving debacle, they can now focus on winning basketball out east. And even though offensively they're nowhere near as strong as the top half of the East, we saw even in the playoffs with the Heat that tough defense and a steady offensive attack is sometimes all you need to get by some of those teams. I think Brooklyn will definitely find a spot in the playoffs and could be a tough out for anyone. New Orleans Pelicans. I want to say Zion Williamson is hungry, but the Pelicans probably don't want to hear that. Ha. But all jokes aside, the Pelicans probably deserve to have been in my Contenders and Pretenders video because until the unfortunate injury to Zion last season, they were firmly in the top 5 out west and still managed to get in the play-in missing one of their all-stars. A team with Zion, CJ McCollum, and fringe all-star Brandon Ingram should be on everyone's radar, so I probably could have left them off as they're a playoff team. Well, as long as they stay healthy. Look, we've seen what Zion can do, and we've seen glimpses of what this team can be. But we've also seen Zion unable to play an entire season for most of his career. For this team to be successful, they need all of the pieces, all of the time. That's just how this works. The Lakers, the Bucks, the Warriors can be fringe playoff teams without their star, but if they want to be in line to win it all, they absolutely can't do it without LeBron, Giannis, or Steph. No team in the last, I don't know how many years can win championships or even compete for one without their key pieces playing. Team sports just work that way. So with a healthy Zion, CJ, Brandon, along with Jonas Valanciunas, Trey Murphy III, Herbert Jones, Cody Zeller, Najee Marshall, and others, they can compete with any team in the NBA. They're that talented and have a solid mix of offense and defense. So really their biggest and main concern should be the health of their stars and for them to be able to play together for very long stretches this season. If that happens, we could be looking at a top 3, yes, 3 team out west. So those are my 5 teams you definitely shouldn't sleep on for 2023-2024 NBA season. Do you feel I missed a team, or do you feel any of these teams don't belong here? Let me know in the comments section. Also, if you want to ascend to GOAT status like number 23, please like and subscribe to the channel. I appreciate your views and feedback, and I'll be back soon with more content.